Everybody doing on this Wednesday afternoon? I am your boy Beto Luna with the Niners Sickness Podcast. I got my boy and my partner in crime, Pete Lucas with the Niners Fanatic Podcast. We're going to talk training camp. We're going to talk quarterbacks, and we're going to have so much fun right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'd like to know.
are you ready for start time?
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Tag Team. Two of the best heavyweights of the
literally
social media. Literally. Myself and my boy Pete Lucas. What's up, my brother? How you doing, sir?
Hey, Beto, I'm happy to be here. Happy the training camp is here. I'm just the last day and a half I've gotten a chance to give a big hoosah and just breathe finally. We're talking about actual football now. There is a whole bunch really to talk about now, like where we were just scrounging for every little fact that we could find. And now there's all kinds of good tidbits to talk about. But I'm happy to be here. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, and I'm in the same mindset that we finally have something to talk about. Training camp has begun. The pads have not come on yet. That will take place on Sunday, but we are definitely trending that way. But there have been some announcements that were made yesterday by Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch that we'll get into more in detail if you haven't heard already. But I'm excited to come on. This is one of my favorite shows to come on with you, partner. I think we have a lot of great chemistry together and enjoy talking football with you, man. So I am fired up to talk 49er training camp that it officially started yesterday or today, actually. With training, first training on today. But I want to talk a little bit about what took place yesterday in the press conference with Kyle and John. There's been some new information about the quarterback situation. Go ahead and let us know what that was, Pete.
Well, I mean, I think we all know at this point, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Threads, if you're on if you're on social media, Brock Purdy got physically cleared to practice. He officially has no restrictions, but the team has a plan to keep him healthy up until it's time to play. And he's basically going to be on a pitch count, as well as he's going to rest every third practice. So, but it is entirely a great sign for him to be in training camp now, getting a chance to play and throw and build chemistry with the guys that are in the building. I know I'm excited. And honestly, it gives us a chance to have for him to be around the other quarterbacks. And I know that a lot of people we're counting on Trey Lance getting more reps and getting a chance to see what Trey Lance was about. But this is going to get us a chance to see it really, for the fans, I feel like more than anybody, it becomes a competition, and we get to see who is really running the offense the best.
Exactly, bro. And I'm so stoked to talk about the quarterback situation. You know, we've been talking about the quarterback all off season. Is Brock Purdy going to be able to start week one? Is Brock Purdy, when is he coming back? Is he going to come back week 4? Is he going to have any type of training camp underneath this belt? Are they going to start in week 1 with no training camp and back and forth? Nobody knew the situation. We were all speculating all offseason. Brock Purdy, his doctors, and the San Francisco 49ers front office knew where things were at. And Kyle finally said, or John Lynch said, that he's cleared. Now, they are, like Pete said, they are going to have restrictions on how they bring him back. But don't get confused. I read on Twitter, you know, if he's cleared from all restrictions, but they put restrictions on him, how is that possible? I'm like, no. His throwing motion, everything that has to do with his health, there's no restrictions. But they want to bring him in at ease. They want to ease him in. Listen, CMC did not practice today, right?
Yeah.
Trent Williams did not practice today. Are they on restriction? No, they just didn't start him. So don't put too much in from Brock not starting today. I think it's smart the way they're doing it. Don't you think, Pete?
For sure. Like, I mean, this is the thing. He's coming off of a major kind of unique injury. And I think that there's still a lot of learning to do in the football community, honestly, about this injury. They're just being cautious. And which I think a lot of us are kind of happy to see them being cautious, because I think in the past, the 49ers have kind of been, you could have accused them of rushing people back. And like, I for one applaud that they're taking a cautious approach. And like, but I'm really pleasantly surprised that he was cleared so early and that he's so far ahead of schedule, because he wasn't supposed to be cleared until, I mean, right, but like a couple of weeks before the season started originally. So, but I want to say what's up to the chat. I see everybody in here bringing their energy and tapping in. Man, y'all show up every week, and I really I know Beto appreciates you, but I got to tell you, I appreciate you, and I saw Don in the chat, in my chat yesterday at my show. Melissa came through. I see all of you. I really appreciate all you guys coming through.
Yeah, the chat's on fire. They're amazing. You know, me and you, Pete, we do what we love. You know, we come on here, whether it's together or individually on our channels, talking about the sport that we love, football, and the team that we love, the Niners. But I agree with you. If it wasn't for the people in the chat, all we would be doing is talking to each other or by ourselves. So we just want to show great gratitude and appreciation to each and every one of you, because you guys make it. The reason why me and Pete do what we do is because we love talking to you in the chat. So thank you so much.
Sure.
Let's give a hand applause to those in the chat. Let's see if I have the right one. That's for everybody in the chat. Look who stepped in here.
Yo.
We got my girl.
I see Jess in that. Just came in.
Yep, my co-host on Fridays. We do a Niners Now podcast on Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. Make sure to check her out. Also, she has her own channel, which is the East Coast Red and Gold podcast. Herself, Maddie, Beck, and Ty, and they have a special guest tomorrow. Make sure to tune in for tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe to their channel and hit that like. They have Jesse Sopolo as their guest tomorrow. Last week they had Spencer Burford. So they're definitely on fire. Jess is putting in the work. Show your appreciation to my girl Jess by supporting her channel, but don't follow them just because of the guest. Follow them because they bring great content, all 4 of them, and they bless you guys with the extra guest as a treat for free. Following them for free. Exactly. So follow them because they have great content. They have great conversations over there. Make sure to give them a follow. So, Pete.
Yes, sir.
Brock Purdy is cleared to be. He's going to be practicing with the ones. This is not going to be a conversation about um, who's better, who should start, Brock
Mm-hmm.
Purdy or Trey Lance. It's just me and Pete. We're going to have a conversation about if you're a true Niner fan and you call yourself the faithful, you should be happy that we have 4 healthy quarterbacks going into this season. We have Brock Purdy that was cleared. We have Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, and we have Brandon Allen. 4 of them that are complete health. If you're a true Niner fan, you should be elated that Brock Purdy was cleared because we did not know what was going to take place with Brock. We didn't know if he was going to be able to play at all in 2023. We don't know if he was going to miss a lot of time. How much time was he going to be able to get in training camp? And he's going to start fresh in training camp. He only missed 1 day, which is today. He'll start tomorrow throwing with the number ones. That is within itself is great news. Don't you think, Pete?
Oh, I think it's great because you got to think about this. And Shanny made an interesting point on his interview at the press conference that, last year, Brock was 3rd string and barely got any reps in training camp. And this year, for all intents and purposes, he's QB1. And now he's going to get a ton more reps and get more acclimated with his receivers, get more acclimated with the offense and the offensive line that's going to be in front of him on week 1, and all of the players, and going against the first string defense, which I think is also very important. It's just because it's iron sharpens iron, and when you go up against those the number 1 defense in the league, it's only going to make you better. No matter if you make mistakes or not, it's really about getting those reps and playing against the best, so that way you can get better. And we know by just hearing Brock Purdy speak and seeing him play last year that this is a kid that is competitive. He wants to be better. He's going to be a grinder. And I think he's going to work. He worked hard enough to come back way earlier than the schedule was. So take that for what it is, and we should all just be excited about having him, and then having 2 or 3, I guess, strong backups, and I don't even want to call them backups. We have 4 quarterbacks right now.
Yeah, I like that.
And the reality is with Shanny's history, who knows how many of them are going to get to play?
Yeah,
so
all 4 of them.
Yeah, who knows?
Get to play.
And so be happy that we have depth at every single position on this team, including the quarterback position. So.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Exactly. As a Niner fan, listen, I mentioned this on my show, and I'll say it again real quick. It's okay to have your favorite player. As a passionate fan, we all have our favorite players. So a lot of us love Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Montana, Ronnie Lott, the old school guys. A lot of us love Debo or Ayuk or Kittle. Jess loves Kittle. And it's okay to love and follow and support individual players. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. That's part of being a fan. But you have to keep things in perspective. The team should always come first. Team first, then your favorite player. If your favorite player is one of the reasons why your team is looking good and doing good, then hey, there's more for us to be proud of, right? We can pump our chest and say, yeah, we're winning because of my favorite player out there. For those that love CMC and you guys, that's your favorite player. If it wasn't for CMC, this team wouldn't be as good as it is. There's nothing wrong with that. You can say that, but put the team first. And I say all that to say this: whoever starts at quarterback is because they earned it.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing's given in the NFL. Nothing's given. Trey's finding that out. He is a third pick overall in the first round. People traded, the Niners traded up to get him, but nothing's given. Everything's earned. Not only earned, but you have to have some luck go
Yes.
with you because unfortunately for Trey, he hasn't got the opportunity to play. He got hurt when he did get his opportunity. And when Brock came in, Brock did what any quarterback would do coming in is you're fighting to prove to your coaches that you belong in the NFL. And Brock came in and did his thing, and the coaches fell in love. So is it going to be Trey? We don't know yet. Let's see what Trey has to bring to the table. I'm rooting for Trey. I want Trey to do his thing. I want him to be and do very well in training camp, but you can't unseen what took place last year, Pete. You cannot unseen the games that Brock Purdy won and what he was able to do in Kyle Shanahan's offense. He was able to run the offense the way Kyle wants to be run, and Kyle can unseen that either. So people might get butthurt. Well, Kyle doesn't love Trey. Kyle doesn't care about Trey. He cares about all his quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. I think
he cares about
all
winning
his
first.
Players. I think he cares about all of his players, period.
But he wants to win.
Yes.
He wants to keep his job. Doesn't anybody want to keep their job?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
He wants to win. And how do you win? By putting the best player out there, right?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, it's not in the NFL, it stands for not for long. And every single time you get on that field, you are auditioning.
Yes.
And that is just the way that's the way it's been historically. I think in some of the more recent years, I think there has been some almost some guys felt comfortable because of their draft status and what teams traded to get them that they didn't have to worry about looking behind them, looking over their shoulder. But I would say that back in the old days, you would get snatched up real quick.
Yep.
If the other quarterback was, I mean, people don't remember because I mean I'm old, but like back in the 80s, there was constant rumblings about different quarterbacks that were on the team. Even when Steve Young and Joe Montana were in the building, Elvis Gerback was snapping at at Steve Young's heels. Steve Bono was some people were actually saying Bono should get starts. There was all kinds.
Crazy, but
yeah. I mean, but do you remember that? Like, I mean,
yeah.
it was just because Montana was going through his injury issues, and Bono got to come in, look good, and then all of a sudden you get people saying, "Oh, well, maybe they need to go with Bono." Then, like, I mean, it's just a natural. It was just a natural thing. It's the survival of the fittest, and now, like, we've kind of got into this thought process where hey, well, they gave up this many draft picks to go get him. They've got to start him. Well, Kyle came up through an old school family, and he's been around old school football forever. And it doesn't surprise me that he thinks about it the way he thinks about it, and that guys. I mean, you saw what happened when Jimmy Ward was a fixture.
Yep.
Jimmy Ward was a fixture on this team. He was a leader. But Deshaun Gibson was playing good enough to where they could not give him his job back.
Mm-hmm.
And that just goes to show you this culture, the culture of this team. Nobody's safe. If you're not playing the best, you may find your spot taken right quick. So it is what it is. It's really unfortunate for Trey, but it could be a really good thing for the 49ers. We don't know.
Exactly.
But I trust in Kyle that he is going to do what's best to get, like you said, to get wins. And that's the important thing to get, because we're not playing for regular season wins anymore at this point with this team. We're trying to get to that Super Bowl and win it.
Exactly. And people always say that players should not lose their job due to injury. I don't know what you're watching, but every opportunity that presents itself, you got to take advantage of it. That's just a way of life, not in football, just in football, excuse me, but in any way of life. When you get an opportunity knocking at your door, you got to open up that door wide and walk right through it. Brock Purdy did nothing wrong other than walk through an opportunity that presented itself, because unfortunately Jimmy G got hurt, and Jimmy G was able to be there because Trey got hurt earlier in the season. But each player comes in to try to be the starter. There ain't nobody that's on the team, even the ones that will never be a starter want to be a starter. Those fourth string players, nobody jumps on a team just to be a backup. Yeah. Everybody wants to start. Whether you start, that's a whole different story. But everybody wants to be part of the starting lineup. Everybody wants that competitiveness amongst each other. So when Brock Purdy came in, he did what he had to do. He showed Kyle Shanahan, I can run your system. I can move the ball. I can read the defense. I can make audibles if I have to. I can extend the play with my feet. I can do things to help this team win. And the things that he did, it was why he's starting this year. To your point, Pete, about Jimmy Ward. Yeah, he's the number 1 draft pick. But you got Tashawn Gibson that came in, played so damn good that the Niners is like, we don't care where you get drafted. Draft is just how you come into the team, because of the potential of college, right? That you play better at college, you're a higher draft pick. But once you're on the field, it's a open playing field for everybody. Hasn't Kyle and John Lynch shown that with last year, to be exact?
Over and over again.
With the running backs.
Over and over again. Yeah, but specifically, the running backs. Yeah.
I mean, Jordan Mason, an undrafted free agent, beat out a 3rd round player. They let go. Not only that, but the Niners let go of a guaranteed backup quarterback. I forgot his name. Do you remember his name? The one that was with us?
Which one are we talking about?
He had $2 million guaranteed.
Sudfeld?
Sudfeld,
quarterback?
Yeah. He had a $2 million guaranteed, paid.
Mm-hmm. And everybody said he wasn't going to get dropped because
he wasn't going to get dropped because he got paid that money guaranteed. But the Niners did not want to risk what they saw in Brock Purdy, and they dropped the guy that they just gave $2 million off the. They have shown us over and over and over. Now, if you're not seeing it, it's because you don't want to see it. But they've been showing it that if you can produce on the field, regardless of where you were taken, you're going to get opportunity to play. And that's what we've seen. That's why they moved Ward to corner instead of safety position. Why? Because they were not going to move to Gibson out of there because he was playing so well. And if they do that to a starter like that, but I've always heard that, Pete, starters shouldn't lose their job to injury. Why not? Yeah. If the player that comes in behind you outplays you, well, what are you going to do as a coach? Well,
I've always thought that was silly.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This young kid is playing way better than you, but because of my respect for you, I'm going to put you. No.
Yeah.
No.
What would have happened? What would have happened in New England if they had given Bledsoe his job back?
Yeah, come on.
Like, I mean, what would have happened? They were actually on a losing streak when Brady came in that year. People forget, but I think they were like, I want to say they were like 0-4 when he came in, and him coming in turned that team around, and they end up winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's all kinds of things that can happen in football that it's not, if the game is not played on paper. Like, you can look at your team right now. We can look at it, and we look at a stacked roster, right? But one of those guys could go down tomorrow, and one of our backups could have to go in. And who knows if they're better? Are you going to say, if they're better at that spot, are you going to say, oh well, the other guy's back, so he was good, so he should just get his job back? No, you're going to go with the guy that is balling out. Yeah. Which is what they did with Tashawn Gibson, which is what they did with which is what they're doing really right now with Brock Purdy. Like, people, the one comparison that kind of bothers me is that people keep comparing Brock Purdy to Jimmy Garoppolo and saying, "Oh, it's the same thing as Jimmy." It absolutely is not. It absolutely is not the same thing because Jimmy won 5 games at the end of the season. But the reality of the situation is Brock won more games than he did. Not only that, he won 2 playoff games.
Yep.
Jimmy didn't go to the playoffs that year. And when Jimmy did go to the playoffs, what was Jimmy's QBR?
Yeah. It wasn't
It's
Brock.
not the same thing. It's not the same thing. And this is the thing. They won those playoff games not because they just ran the ball 40 times. No, Brock had a major part in both of those playoff wins. And to the point to where people didn't know who was going to win the NFC Championship when the Eagles were everybody thought the Eagles were favored, but the reality was it was a pretty even matchup. And with a 7th round rookie at the quarterback position. Like, so you're not going to compare the two. It's completely different situations. But I get so upset when people compare the two. It's really not a comparison. Brock did so much better than Jimmy did when he came that, I mean, yeah, Jimmy won games, but we all know, I mean, most of us know, I'll say, that they were winning game. He was more of a game manager than Brock is running the offense. There's a difference, and that's all. I just think that it's entirely different. But I get your point about people just have to be cool with winning.
Yeah.
Winning is the most important thing. It's not about who you like. It's not about who you think should start. It's really not. Like, you can be disappointed. You can be disappointed. We can feel like we don't have closure because we don't with Trey. I think a lot of us were looking forward. I know I was looking forward to seeing him play coming back from injury, but I can't argue with them not putting him back in right away because of what I saw from Brock. I can't argue with it. And to be honest, it doesn't matter if I did because it's not my it's a way above my pay grade. So it is what it is. I think people just need to, like I like to say, give it a hoosah, breathe, and just talk yourself through the fact that this could be a good thing. Just let it happen.
It definitely is going to be a good thing, bro. You have 4 quarterbacks that are healthy. You have Trey Lance that's trying to show the world himself and the coaches that he's the guy to play, which is good. Sam Darnold is trying to show that he's not the guy that people reference him to, the interception turnover guy. He's trying to turn his career around. So he came to the Niners. Hopefully he can do that with this roster.
Grant
Kyle,
said he still
will he
is.
do it? I don't know.
Grant said he still is.
But at least he's trying. At least he's trying, and he's healthy. Brandon Allen, you know what I mean?
They said he was trash today.
That's what but again, the defense is always going to play better when it's always going to have the upside over the offense when the pads are not on. Once the pads come on, then it starts evening out. Listen, you can't put a much in practice. Okay, you can't put definitely nothing on preseason. Barry Sanders played like crap during training camp. Training camp didn't look like crap, but was he crap? Hell no. He was one of the best running backs ever to touch the ball. Players sometimes that when the lights, not everyone is like Kirk Cousins. Okay, they don't shut down when the lights go on. They come out when the lights go on. A lot of players play their best football when their lights go on. They practice a certain way, like, then I practice. And then they go into the game and they just start killing it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take a lot of things out of context through practice. Practice is great to build chemistry, to be on point with your receivers if you're a quarterback, the timing, all that. But it's when you're facing live ammunition on a live game, bullets are flying, that's when you showcase who you're made of. And I wish Trey the best. I want Trey to be the best of what he can be. But I'm rooting for Brock too. I want Brock to be great. Why?
Mhm.
Because if Brock is great, that gives us an opportunity to win our sixth Lombardi trophy. And why wouldn't you want to win that sixth Lombardi trophy? Listen, Pete is a little older, so I'm pretty sure he has experienced those Super Bowls, watching them on TV live. I
Mhm.
experienced all five of them.
Yeah, me
I've
too.
been blessed to been to each Super Bowl in person and watched them.
That's crazy.
Uh, but I've seen all five. I've been to all five parades in San Francisco. I know a lot of these young fans have not seen that, so they're
Mhm.
desperate for a Super Bowl. And sometimes people, when they're desperate, they can get impatient. They want it now. They want it now. And I understand that getting to the NFC Championship is not enough. You want to win it all. But when people talk about getting rid of Kyle Shanahan because he can't win the big one, I don't know. Pete, I'm going to let you interpret that. Why do people senseless say that, bro? It's like, hasn't he shown enough that he's a good coach?
Because it's recency bias. It
Okay.
really is. Like, this is the thing. People blame Kyle for, they expect perfection. They expect perfection. We think of the Super Bowl as just, oh yeah, we got a good roster. We got a good roster. There's no reason why we shouldn't win the Super Bowl. Every year, there's a lot of teams. There's at least five or six teams that think that they have a good enough roster to win the Super Bowl. There's 32 teams in the NFL. Like, so if you're just one of 32, and if everybody thinks at the beginning of the season that they're going to be good enough, you've got to, like, look at the situation at you have to look at the situations individually, and there are extenuating circumstances sometimes, and sometimes maybe it is Kyle's fault. But who do you have that is going to do a better job than Kyle right now? I don't see anybody on the horizon that is out there that I would take over Kyle. Like, I think people overlook the culture that he's set in the building. These
Mm-hmm.
players love him to death. And not that that means anything against winning, but the thing is when you have a culture where guys aren't worrying about getting paid. Eric Armstead came on today to the his press conference talking about. They asked him a question about Nick Bosa and was he worried about Nick getting his deal done? And Eric said, "No. Why would I be worried? Like, this team has a really good track record of paying its guys. Like, so when the players are saying that, not the coaches, not Lynch, when the players are saying that they're not worried about this building, about the front office, about not getting paid, about not being taken care of. They have a great relationship with the coaching staff. They're constantly talking about the coaching staff. Like, you have to attribute that to it all comes from the top, and it all comes from Kyle. Kyle brought in Lynch. Don't forget that. Kyle brought in Lynch. So literally this whole microcosm of the front office and the coaching staff is pretty much all Kyle. Like,
Exactly.
there were some scouts and stuff that were here before him, but the reality is this is Kyle's baby. And if you lose Kyle, you lose that culture. And do you really want to lose the culture that comes with him? I've seen a lot of coaches for the 49ers over the years, and enough to know that this is a culture that can last. A culture of winning. Maybe they haven't gotten to the Super Bowl yet, but don't sell short, because when he gets over that hump, and I do believe Kyle's going to get over the hump. Like, when he gets over that hump, it could light a fire, and we could be in a good position for years to come because of the way that this whole front office and this whole team has set this up. They're not like the Rams. They didn't just go all in and spend a bunch of money on certain guys. They went in, systematically put this thing together, set themselves up, set their contracts up in certain ways to keep it going. They do a great job drafting in the later rounds and keep bringing in talent over and over and over again. Like, deepest team ever. They just have to get over the hump. Last year, it was a freak accident. The year before that, we were at what, 1-2 throws away, and really a dropped interception away from making the Super Bowl. Like, it's just things happen sometimes in football, and it's not always the coach. Sometimes it's just dumb luck. And but I really feel like Kyle's going to get over the hump. I think that people that are selling him short right now aren't looking long game. They're just looking at right now and what they want right now. Sorry.
Exactly. No. You're good, bro. You're not gonna apologize to me when you're talking, bro. I'm always intrigued to what you have to say. So
Yeah.
I am listening to you as well as everybody in the chat. But yeah, bro, it's that's the way it is. People want Kyle to be fired, but they don't have nobody to replace him.
Mhm.
Kyle came in. People forget, man. Kyle came. It's not like Harbaugh when Harbaugh came in. Harbaugh was able to take a good team and win games with that good team. He was a great manager of talent. I
Mhm.
got to give Harbaugh that.
Mhm.
Harbaugh was able to take over a team that was going anywhere with great talent and win and go to the NFC Championship and make it to a Super Bowl. But when Kyle came in, he pretty much gutted the whole team, left maybe like 2 players from the old regime there and brought in everybody in and started building. They made some bad choices in the draft, but they
Mhm.
made some great choices as well. And the Niners developed their players. A lot of the teams that I think PFF had, the Niners had like six players, the most players in the 100, I think it was, or I forgot what list it was, but they had 6 compared to everyone else having 5, 4, and 3. And all those 6 minus 1 are all players that were developed by San Francisco. That just shows you the culture of San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan and the chemistry between Kyle and the relationship between Shanahan and Lynch. Do they bump heads? Absolutely.
Mhm.
If you've been married or been in a relationship for a long time, you're going to bump heads. It's a given.
Yeah.
It's a given. Because you're going to come to a point where you don't think the same and you have your different opinion and you're going to bump heads. But the way you make it work, and I'm not going to be constantly married right now, but I'm just making a point. You find a common ground to work with that both parties can come together. And I see that a lot of that with Kyle and Lynch.
Mhm.
Do they argue? Probably. Do they disagree? Probably. But they find a common ground. And I'm always seeing them during the season and on the field high-fiving each other. I see a lot of chemistry between them that I don't see in other teams. And I like to watch a lot of teams play. It's very rare that I see a general manager high-fiving their coach on the field as I see Kyle and John Lynch.
Mhm.
I don't see that. Have you seen that? Do you
No.
see it very frequently?
The vibe for the 49ers is, I mean, it's crazy to me. I just think that it is so conducive to, I think players want to be here. I think players are excited to play for this team. You don't hear anything bad about this organization, even when they're not going. And this is when I knew that the culture was, and it continues to impress me. But last year, when I heard what they said about McGlinchey, and that they told him pretty early on during the season that, hey, we're probably not going to be able to keep you, and just being
Yep.
and letting him go, and just being honest. Not a lot of teams are just completely honest with their players, and I think that is what makes this team, so, and this coaching staff and this front office so special, is that they're just real. They're just real with their players. It just has that family feel to it. And I know that that's kind of cliche to say, like, but I don't think so. I don't think it's cliche when it comes to this team. I think we
No.
see it just like you were talking about. I think we see the energy. Think we see the fire. We see the Lynch and Adam Peters hugging players in the tunnel.
Yes.
Like all those things, they add up. And
Yes,
don't
sir.
think that other players don't see the same thing and don't hear the same things from these players. And don't take that for granted. We've had bad regimes before for this team. So when we see something like this, we should embrace it. I feel. Now, you don't have to. It is what it is. You can fan any way that you want to. Like, but me as a fan, I embrace this. I'm embracing this culture and this coaching staff and this front office right now. I think that they are doing everything in their power to win ball games and to eventually win the Super Bowl. We may not agree with everything that they do, but they haven't really proven us wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just they haven't done wrong by us. I think that they put a good product out there every year. It takes luck, it takes health, and it takes a lot of things to get to a Super Bowl and win it. It's not just the quarterback spot.
Yeah.
So
It's easy to say. I don't know what Kyle was thinking. How in the heck did he take Solomon Thomas and not get someone like Patrick Mahomes
yeah.
or Deshaun Watson?
What
They
what
came,
pick what pick was Patrick Mahomes?
I think, 10th.
Okay, so 9 other teams didn't pick him either.
Exactly. And that's because Kansas City moved up to get him. He could have went further, but Kyle came in with a plan. See, everybody from the outside looking in always has their point of views, what they shouldn't have done. Listen, for all those that said that Kyle was stupid for taking Solomon Thomas over Patrick Mahomes, now we understand that Patrick Mahomes who he is and Solomon Thomas who he is. Okay, but at the time nobody knew either.
Mhm.
Hindsight 2020 is always clearer when it's already taken place, right? But nobody knew at that time if Mahomes was going to be the Mahomes that we know today,
Mhm.
or Solomon Thomas is going to be as terrible. Maybe it would have, if it would have been the opposite, nobody would have been disputing that. But what they failed to see, Pete, what about the George Kittles? What about the Greenlaws?
Mhm.
What about the Debos? What about the
Fred Warner
Hufangas?
and all the people. I mean,
They hit
it's
on.
crazy.
They brought in and who's taking over this culture. What about Brandon Ayuk? Like, people tell me, well, they shouldn't got rid of DeForest Buckner. If that's how you feel, that's fine.
Mhm.
But they got a first round pick for him, and even though they took a player that did not work out for us in Kinlaw, I'm still not mad at that pick because we were able to trade with Tampa and get some extra picks that we were able to use later on to move up from
Yeah.
30th to 25 to take Brandon Ayuk. So that Brandon Ayuk comes in a package with Kinlaw. Now, Kinlaw
Mhm.
did not work out or hasn't worked out. But if you love Brandon Ayuk and if you're a big fan of Brandon Ayuk, that wouldn't have happened without that trade of Buckner, because the
Mhm.
Niners would have not had that high first round pick to make a trade with Tampa.
Mhm.
People, you got to see everything from both sides.
Yeah.
So yeah, Patrick Mahomes was not taken. Deshaun Watson wasn't taken. They were trying to pursue Cousins. Kyle came in with a plan, but started to figure out that plan ain't working. It's not working. They moved on for DeForest Buckner. You know what they realized? Shit, this is not working. Kinlaw's not working out. So what did they do, Pete? Remind us, for those that haven't
They
known.
went out and got Javon Hargrave,
Thank you.
and now, like, they're set up for the foreseeable future along that defense. They're about to be set up for the foreseeable future with that defensive line.
Yes,
I
sir.
think that people are forgetting about Kalia Davis. I think people are forgetting, not forgetting. I think that people are underestimating the edge spot right now. I think Drake Jackson is going to show up and show out this year. I think that I'm still a believer in Cleveland Farrell. I
Yes.
think that he is going to show up and show out. And I want people to remember the name Spencer Waggy. Like I know that
Yes.
this is not he's not he's not going to be necessarily a household name yet, and he may not even make the 53 man this year. But I just want people to remember that name. I think he is going to be a factor down the road at some point. But I say all that to say this team they have always found diamonds in the rough. Always found diamonds in the rough. And it's just you have to trust the process. They're always going to find players. I mean, I'm confident in saying that at this point. There is never going to be a draft where they don't pick more decent players than they pick terrible players. That's just hasn't been the case. They've been hitting on a majority of the players in their drafts, like especially the late picks. So and let's not even get started on the undrafted free agents that they've found. Like it's not just running backs. So just breathe, enjoy, just sit back, breathe, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride, and let's see what happens this season, because I think we're at a point with this team to where we're not so much worried about the regular season. It's when we get to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see where this team is at during the playoffs. Let's see where we're at health wise. Let's see, especially at the quarterback position. Let's see where we're at health wise. Let's see where we are, like from a mental standpoint, because we're all getting really excited right now, and training camp just started. Like, but I mean, the season hasn't even started yet, and we're already pissed off because because some people didn't get the quarterback that they wanted. Just let it play out. Just let it play out. Breathe.
Exactly. Breathe. The word faithful. We
Yep.
are the faithful. Everybody uses Niner faithful. We are the faithful. Well, what is that word faithful? Meaning trusting in something, putting your whole trust in something that might not be here yet, but believing that it will take place sometime soon. And you got to trust Kyle. Now, do I agree with everything Kyle does? Absolutely not. Do I think he screws up on certain calls or certain? Yes. He's not perfect. He's also learning how to be that head coach and run everything. Did we freeze? Did P freeze?
Did I? Oh,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
you're
think
frozen.
I did.
Yeah. I was like, you're staring up way too long.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I'm like, I know you're attentive to what I'm saying, but I know I don't speak
Yeah.
that good for you to be that
Look at those
devoted
eyes.
without even blinking. I'm like, dang, I feel like special, like I'm a professor.
Let me see if it comes back. Nope, it is
No.
not gonna come back.
Leave it like that and then turn off your camera, turn it back on,
Okay, hold on.
and see if that happens. But you got to trust the process. You got to trust the process. You got to trust Kyle. Criticize him. I'm not saying not to criticize Kyle. I'm not even saying not to criticize John Lynch. When they make their fart brain decisions, criticize them. Call them on it. But also, in the same token, when they take you to an NFC championship game twice in a year, twice back to back, even though we did not get further, give them credit for that. Give them credit. We started slow 2 years ago, and we made it to the NFC championship. If it wasn't for that drop from stupid Tart, we would have had our sixth Lombardi, because there's no way Cincinnati would have beat us that year. The following year, we made it back to the champion. We lost our quarterback, for God's sakes, and we were not able to make it. But you know how many teams don't ever, not even sniff an NFC championship game? I think we're so spoiled.
So spoiled.
When it comes to Super Bowls, that we don't appreciate what we do get, and we're so concerned about where we want to go. Listen, there are teams like Dallas Cowboys. They have not smelled, forget about the Super Bowl. They haven't smelled an NFC championship game in 29 years, 30 years. There you go. So they have not been to an NFC championship game. You have the Jets. You have a lot of teams that have not been there. The Niners were there 2 years in a row, three during the whole time of Kyle Shanahan being here, and one Super Bowl appearance. Now, don't settle for that.
Yeah.
Want more and want a Super Bowl, but don't just dismiss it like it's nothing. It's hard to get to the NFC championship game. And we got there. We got there.
Yeah.
And even playing the Packers in Lambeau 2 years ago, that we won by Hyder making that special teams play, we got there. So don't settle, want a Super Bowl, but in the same token, don't forget to appreciate what they've done for this organization and for that we are relevant, right? When people talk about the Niners, what do they say? They have a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Like the last 2, 3, 4 years, they've said that.
Do you hear that about the Browns? When you hear the Browns, do you hear that about Carolina? Is there any word saying Carolina might make the Super Bowl?
No. A majority of the time, I want to say that teams if they do get to the Super Bowl, they immediately fall out of after that. Usually, they all fall out. That the team goes away the next year. So it's or something happens and they fall out of the playoffs entirely. It's really weird the way that happens. But it's very hard to have sustained success, and this team has found a way. I mean, they've been in 3 NFC championships in the last 4 years, and they've been to 1 Super Bowl. I'm a full believer that they're going to get there this year. And honestly, I think they would have gotten there last year if it wasn't for a fluke injury. That's just how I feel about
I'm with
it.
you.
So I think Kyle is doing a phenomenal job. You may not, like Beto said earlier, you may not agree with everything that he does. You may expect him to be perfect. You may expect him to do things differently than what he's doing. You may just really want what you want.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But at the end of the day, are you going to root for the team? That's all we want to know. Are you going to root for the team in the end of the day? Because we can say whatever we want. We can disagree. That's fine. But at the end of the day, where I question is when we just stop rooting for the team. And the team, and right now, everything should be roses and rainbows and just nothing but smiles, because training camp just started. It's a fresh lease on life. It is about to be, the fun times are about to begin again. We're all about to get to watch football and get to watch our team week in, week out. And then you're going to get 20, 40 different perspectives from all the Niner content creators, and you're going to enjoy all of it. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy it.
Yeah. Enjoy it just like the way my boy Pete is enjoying being frozen again.
Oh my God.
Enjoy it like that. Just like that. Don't move. Just stay focused. As focused as he is. Funny stuff, bro. Ty's killing me, bro. Ty's killing me in the comments. I'm reading Ty. He's you guys are killing me, but I love it. They're like, look how concentrated Pete is when he's talking. He's so concentrated.
I just want my residuals on that Zoolander, the Zoolander look.
You could have left actually the picture of what's better than just seeing a P of yourself. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, you're not moving, but it's better than just looking at that ugly P. Not because of your name, but just the zero,
I wonder why
just
that's
a P on
happening
there.
all of a sudden.
Yeah, so let's before we get to a close, let's just want to read a couple of comments and just talk about the comments. Real quick, I just want to give a quick announcement that we're ending our show at 7. We do an hour every Wednesday. We come live at 6 p.m. Myself and Pete, we tag team together and we talk 49er football. We will continue to do this as long as we can. at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure to join us. We roll on both of our channels, so you can make sure to hit the subscribe and like button on both of our channels at the same time or one after the other for us. And also at 7:30, my boy Brandon, he's for Forever Faithful podcast is starting back up, and I'm going to be a guest on his show at 7:30. Forever Faithful podcast. Make sure to follow us. He also put my channel on there, so you can follow us on my channel at 7:30 as well. Make sure to support us on that at 7:30. But make sure to hit the like and subscribe to my friend, Mr. Frozen. I mean Pete. Channel.
I'm not even gonna try and fix it at this point.
No, we got like 5 minutes, bro.
Yeah.
Just sit there and look cute, bro.
Well, that's what I do.
Oh wow, look who it is. Can I hit his? I can't. How do you leave it to my brother? He said hi, but he did it in a way where I can't click on his name.
Oh.
Anyway, if Francisco, if you're listening, what's up, bro? It's my older brother.
Oh, okay.
Blood brother.
Okay.
Yeah, he lives about 20 minutes from me, and I haven't seen him in 2 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's not his choice, it's mine.
Oh.
I'm always so busy doing things. But I love my brother, man. I'm back, folks. What's up, Eric? So every Wednesday at 6 p.m., myself and Pete Lucas come together and we talk 49. We're going to continue to break down training camp. We're going to break down preseason games. We're going to break down NFL games as they occur. We're going to talk the good, the bad, and the ugly for you guys. So make sure to subscribe to both of our channels, hit the like button so that you will be notified, or hit the notification bell so you will be notified each and every time we go live. As we come together and tag team. I love my chemistry with my boy Pete. It's fun talking football. It's unscripted. And we finally, yeah, have fun with it. And we want to engage more with our fan base. So we're going to do things to make things better for the channel during our 1 hour live. Pete, anything happening on your channel that you want to promote real quick?
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow I'll have another show tomorrow around probably around 8 same time, 8 o'clock. And yeah, I'm just going to be talking training camp. I'm just really stoked to get the season going and to start talking about these press conferences are giving some really good information. If you haven't watched or listened to the quarterbacks thing on that show on Netflix, I want to make sure people watch it.
Yes.
I think that was an awesome
I only watched
show.
2 episodes, but that's a good show.
And then the Play Callers podcast. Make sure that because it'll give you some really good insight on Shanny and
What is it called?
his journey. The Play Callers.
That's on YouTube, or
it's just on anywhere where you get your audio podcast. It was
called
by The Athletic. The Athletic put it together.
And it's called the Play Callers podcast.
Yeah, the Play Callers podcast.
I'm gonna look it up.
You can Google it.
That I didn't know.
It is a great podcast. It's a 5 episode
series,
series of there where they just talk about the whole Shanahan kind of tree and how all of them, McVay, him, Mike McDaniel, Matt, with the head coach for the Green Bay Packers, and all of that whole tree kind of came up, and they talk a lot about their mentality, what they went through coming up in coaching and all. It's a great podcast. But the only reason why I bring it up is I encourage everybody to we were talking about Shanny, and I encourage everybody to listen to it because it'll give you some insight as to his mentality and why he thinks the way that he does. I know it gave me a lot of insight, and it made a lot of the moves make sense. So I know he drives us crazy sometimes, but this will give you a little bit of insight into his thought process. So I encourage everybody to watch that. But yeah, I'll be doing my show tomorrow. I'll be talking training camp. I think we'll all be talking training camp for the foreseeable future. But I'm excited. I'm excited to just learn some more about our new players in the building, how good existing players have gotten in the offseason. I'm hearing good things about Danny Gray. I'm hearing good things about TDP. I'm hearing good things about TDP, and
Yes.
I'm hearing good things about a number of players, including Trey Lance. So I'm just excited, and I want to see the growth in this team. And if they, I mean, how do you get much better than this defense was already? But yeah, I'm stoked. So
Yeah. Real quick, Jeff, I just put Pete's a YouTube link on the comments. Just click on it and go and subscribe to his channel. He was asking for your channel, so I just put it on there. Just click on it. Also, wanted just to say that I will continue to pray. Let's all just keep positive thoughts and prayers for Eric. He caught COVID,
oh no,
and he's dealing with COVID. So please keep him in prayer and
get
show
better,
your
bro.
love for him. Eric, get better soon, my friend. Sorry to hear that you got COVID, man. Stay safe. I'm not vaccinated. I chose not to get vaccinated, and I go out there with no mask. I'm just not going to let myself live in fear, but I don't deny either that it's still real and it's still out there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, get better, Eric. Wish you well. Everyone, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Thank you for tuning in. We are tuning out, but I appreciate you tuning in, my
Appreciate you.
friend. Um,
Appreciate the chat. You guys were
yes,
You guys were great today.
easy with the
Yeah,
F bomb.
yeah. Sorry.
You caught it. You caught it. That's all good. At least you caught it.
Yeah,
But that just shows that he's passionate and excited about that statement that he made uh, about you guys. He didn't call you there for it. He said that he was effing excited.
yeah,
And make sure to follow my boy Brandon's channel, Forever Faithful Podcast. Again at 7:30, we will be going live. I will be a guest on his show. We will be showing it on his channel and mine. You can watch it from either channel. But if you're not subscribed to my boy Brandon's channel, please go and subscribe to his channel, Forever Faithful Podcast. And Pete, it was a pleasure. It was fun talking with you. Can't wait for next Wednesday. Hopefully, it won't be the frozen version of
yeah.
you, but I look forward to talking to you next Wednesday.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to wave to the people, but appreciate you, bro.
All right. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to tune in at 7:30 on my channel or my boy Brandon's Forever Faithful channel as we will continue to talk football. Everyone, God bless. Good night. Until next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are out of here. Peace.